Time for your lesson of the day. Well, usually it takes something like a big thing to really get me upset, but you see, the thing is, problems with these days, I'm standing outside the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 12, Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. For all of you who were planning on touring Newfoundland over the summer, please come here, because this is the only Legion in Canada, probably the world, who has museum status like this. But the reason why I'm doing this blog right now is because recently something has been getting on my case, namely the treatment of our veterans. Not just the old ones, but the younger ones that have served our country bravely, went overseas to bring peace, stability to the Middle East and to places where at least try to have some sense of freedom in a place that will probably never see it. But they go over anyway. Not because they want to, not because they have to, but because it's the right thing to do. Now, on the NTV News today, there has been a big thing. You see, Marine Atlantic, which is the ferry service that ferries a lot of people and things from Port aux Basques, Newfoundland, over to the mainland in Nova Scotia. You see, this is the thing. A lot of veterans these days are being mistreated. Being abused, being made fun of, and downright being neglected. Their basic rights that they go out every single day to defend. Whether it's the First World War, who are all dead and gone, God bless them. World War II, which are not all gone, but very soon they will be. Korean, and the Afghan and Iraqi conflicts. Now you see, me being a Legion member and me being the nephew of a veteran really upsets me, because in the news recently there were about four bikers who are indeed veterans, and one of them, they have post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, the one big tool that they have to help them is a service dog. Now, number one, they are, in my mind, back in the Second World War. After the war was dead and gone, a lot of the veterans were being treated like they should have, and that was with only a little bit of controversy and a little bit of protest. They were able to get the concessions that they so richly deserved. These days, there's barely any concessions. There's barely any rights. There's barely any gifts or any benefits that these veterans have to get. Now you see, these veterans came to the province, a province that everybody has stated time and time again is probably one of the nicest, kindest, generous places to be. And when I found out what happened today, it made me sick to my stomach to call myself a Newfoundlander, for the very reason that the way they were treated by Marine Atlantic. Marine Atlantic pretty much threatened to kick them off of the ferry and to leave them stranded in Newfoundland. Now these veterans go across Canada, across North America, actually, on their bikes to raise awareness about post-traumatic stress disorder. They're speakers like me about their own individual cause. Now, post-traumatic stress disorder, if you don't know what that is, do your research, do your homework. But I will give a very slight description of it. Over in the war, you see a lot of nasty things. You see your friends die, you see people getting murdered, raped, robbed, killed, and it leaves a very ugly, lasting impression on your brain. You have night fears, you have night sweats, you have nightmares, and you need something to help you. A lot of times medication, a lot of times a service dog. Now this veteran, he was on the boat. He had all of the licenses saying he was a veteran, saying he was licensed to have the dog, and because Marine Atlantic was following, as they put it, procedure, he was not allowed to have the dog on the boat. And here's the thing, they told him that he had to have the dog in his stateroom for 14 hours, and if the dog or him were spotted anywhere outside the stateroom, they would turn the boat around, go back to Newfoundland, and leave him stranded there. In my mind, that had to be the biggest kick in the you-know-what than anything I've ever seen, for the mere fact that these people were horribly disrespected. Now, you see, the thing is, 95% of these veterans that go overseas, they come back, and if they come back either with mental, physical wounds, or they don't come back at all. And the fact that our government and the fact that Marine Atlantic and the fact that all these people seem to forget what these people put on the line for us each and every day, for us to disrespect them like that is absolutely atrocious. Marine Atlantic came out with a very BS excuse why they did what they did, and they offered no apologies. But they're going to reimburse them only because they found out what they did was wrong because of extreme protest. So here's the thing. For all these veterans that go through the most horrible and very devastating things time and time again, for us to disrespect them is just disrespecting ourselves for everything that they go through on a daily basis. Like I said many a time, it's just like the old saying goes, if you can't remember, just try to think. And if you're not prepared to stand behind our veterans, feel free to stand in front of them.